Hello and welcome, guys, to our roundup session for the SDG Innovation Challenge 2024. And just as our opening song sets is the final countdown, this does not mean that the SDG Innovation Challenge is over. We're just done with the marathon phase of the or the innovation phase of the SDG Innovation Challenge. Okay, so I'm going to explain what all that means in this session. Here with my colleagues Lars and Sonali, who you've all met already. Had the opportunity to interact with throughout the last 40 plus hours that we've been together. It has been a roller coaster, and I'm sure some of you at the beginning were wondering when the 48 hours was going to come to an end, and here we are, so many hours in. Okay, so we started this challenge under the theme bridging social innovation gaps and propelling youth-led innovations for sustainable development. And we accepted your solutions. We asked you to participate based on our 5 focus areas: energy and carbon reduction, health and well-being, food and nutrition, education, and finally, water, sanitation, and hygiene. It's awesome to be here with you all. It's great to have you with us once again. And I just want to take us back a little bit. Let's cast our minds back to the last 48 hours, how far we've come, basically. I remember so fondly when we had the onboarding session, which I'm sure many of you had the opportunity to attend, where we explained what the SDG Innovation Challenge was, what you had to expect, kicking off from the 12th to the 14th, which is today of September. And yes, of course, we did have our team building workshop, if you all remember that. And that was an awesome session to have to kick us off, to explain what team means, what we need to do, working together collaboratively. And yes, we did have our virtual lounges, okay, 2 of them actually, and both of them were really fun. One was more fun than the other, but yesterday's virtual lounge was more educative, was more looking into ourselves as innovators, which was really, really great. We also had the opportunity to have 2 advisory hours, okay? And that was really great as well, to be able to speak to experts in the respective fields that our solutions are coming from. And it was a pleasure having you all. We do have some of our advisors on the call with us today, and I'm sure all thanks should be given to them for guiding you, giving you the tips that has brought you here to the final countdown, final submission phase. And I know some of you have already started submitting your forms and your TPS workbooks, and as well as your 2-minute recorded video. We have extended the deadline to 42 minutes or 52 minutes from now. So you still have some time to do this in the background whilst we get the roundup session out of the way. Great. Next, I would like to take us through some facts and figures of the SDG Innovation Challenge. Awesome. So, guys, I love to do this a lot. I love to talk about all the impacts that we've had together, all the interactions that we have realized during the SDG Innovation Challenge, okay? At the beginning of the challenge, I did tell you some tidbits on the facts and figures, some of the things that have come out of the SDG Innovation Challenge. And I must say, we have been able to keep the momentum. We have been able to keep the same level of intensity. And I'm happy to report a few new things, a few additional things than I reported a few days ago. Yes, a few days ago. And it's great to be here. So first of all, yes, you are aware we did receive over 700 applications, and we were able to go through each of these applications based on specific criteria that we came up to help us find the best candidates for the SDG Innovation Challenge. And out of this 700 plus team applications, if I may say, that we received, there were 3,500 individuals across the teams, okay? And for us, this was a really huge deal because it's represented about 32% increase in the number of applications that we've received from last year. So congratulations to you all. You were one of, or you have been our highest cohort or highest ever pool of applicants, basically. And if you made it to the challenge, it shows the potential and the strength and how good your applications were. And there was something in your application that actually stood out, and that is why you are here at a roundup session after going through the 48 hours of ideation. Great. And we did select 50 teams to participate in the challenge, but we were able to have 47 of them actually confirming their participation and telling us a little bit about who they are in terms of DEI with the onboarding form that we did receive. And I did mention that about 50% of the selected teams were led by women, and which is really, really good. And we did have that same level of intensity for the participation of the teams as well. And many of our teams that we had in the SDG Innovation Challenge were also still female-led. And we saw some of you having to take mantle of team lead, and it was really, really great participating in the SDG Innovation Challenge with you. We did have about 50% of our solutions coming from West Africa, 30 from East Africa, and 20 from the southern and central and northern parts of Africa, basically. We did have a very, very diverse group of participants, basically. And notably, we did have a good representation of African countries in the room. And I'm happy to say that we had about 15 different African countries, some from French-speaking countries as well. And it was good to have you all. It was good to grow with you. It was good to interact with you and work out the kinks out of translating from English to French, trying to make it more inclusive for everybody. And it was a great thing to do. Next thing I would like to talk about is the SDGs, okay? And during your application, you told us all about the SDGs that you're passionate about. I'm happy to report that we still have a large chunk of the SDGs being tackled. And at the last count, it was 15 out of the 17 SDGs, and we still have that same level of intensity in the room. So 15 out of those of our 17 SDGs are duly represented in this room. So you should once again be proud of yourself, give yourself a round of applause, use the chats, use the Zoom reactions. Yeah, you have done it. You have helped further the SDGs, contribute to the SDGs as we decided to do or determined to do with the SDG Innovation Challenge. Then finally, what is the potential of your solutions today? Okay. What is the potential that your solutions have on the people of Africa, basically? So we did ask you, how many people have you been interacting with, or has your project affected, benefited so far? And although there are different degrees of growth, there are some of you who have been working on your project for at least 6 months, and there are some of you who have been working as long as 2 years, okay? Which is really great. And you told us that collectively, the potential of your projects is in the tens of thousands of Africans. So that's also another great achievement. And if we are able to get our collective solutions to impact 10,000 people in Africa, that is a great deal. And that, I believe, will shift the needle when it comes to the SDGs across the African continent. Now, I did mention the virtual lounge that we did have. And if you remember, we did have the opportunity to go through an SDG quiz. And some of you were in the room on that day. Some of you had the opportunity to, test your SDG knowledge, okay? We had a quiz, we had teams, and we had some winners, okay? And I don't want to take all the screen time, and I would like to call on Lars to do us the honors and tell us about how it went, who our winners are, and how we can appreciate them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Eric. And well, big shout out also from my side for making it here. We're on the final stretch, 48 hours. It's been, woof, my God, I'm tired. And I imagine only how tired you all must be. So the SDG quiz. Remember in the first virtual lounge on the 12th in the evening, that feels like ages ago by now, we came together, some of us came together to test our SDG knowledge in form of a quiz. We came together in randomly assembled teams, groups, had an opportunity to connect with each other, to make new friends, to grow our network, to grow our community of SDG practitioners, the people we know, maybe even connect on LinkedIn, etc. And, you know, up our knowledge on the SDGs. 17 questions, 17 SDGs about tough, concerning facts about the Sustainable Development Goals and how we're doing today. Now, we had many answers. I think altogether we had 8 teams playing. So it was pretty amazing. And we have a tie. But that is a fine thing because that means that at least 2 teams are really, really, really up on the SDG knowledge. And we know that nobody was cheating because that was the rule. And we trust in our SDG innovators. But hey, so the winners are, and I shall not put you much more on suspense. We have 2 teams who both scored 14 out of 17 questions right. So that means only 3 answers wrong. And I would like to shout out to the teams. Team Excellent with Peter, Luis, Tricia, Sarah, Michael, and Mag to go, sorry, with Morfin Divine, Dorofina, Ange Marie, and Grace. Team Excellent and Mag T2D, sorry. We will put the information in the chat, makes it easier for everybody because I'm just messing it up. But hey, congratulations, teams. Let's give us a quick round of applause, everybody. You mastered the SDG quiz and you're up on your SDG whiz, meaning that you know what's ahead, what we have to do, what we have to work on particularly. What does it mean to be a winner? Of course, SDGs is about visibility. SDGs is about also bringing other people on board, and that also connects to our next stage or phase in the SDG Innovation Challenge. Eric will talk about this briefly, about the People's Choice campaign and the Global Goals Week. But what we commit to do for the winners, we will give you a personalized shout out on social media, appreciating your SDG knowledge and your fitness in the SDGs. So watch out for that on social media. What we need from you is your, whatever it is, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, your handles, so that we can actually tag you live in the post on the visuals and give you that acknowledgement and this appraisal as you deserve it. So I hope that's good news. You'll get a good bit of visibility. We're buzzing on social media as is, and we're happy to give a shout out to you on that platform. And I guess with that said, I'm handing over to Sonali for the next section, but let's do a round of virtual applause. Find these reaction buttons, Team Excellent and Mac2D. This is your applause.
Amazing. Let's keep the applause coming in as we also applaud for all of us. I mean, as participants who have completed the 48 hours. It's not been easy. It's been challenging. It has put you on a schedule. It has invited you to look at different materials in different places, to use different platforms, Zoom, Slack, email. And we hope all of this, along with being a challenge, was also an incredible learning experience for you all and a fantastic opportunity for you to meet different people from different parts of Africa as well who are working on the SDGs, just like you are. I think now that we have, been through this challenge and we've kind of survived it in a sense, and it's only phase 1. of the whole SDG Innovation Challenge, right? There's the whole mentoring phase still coming up, but we want to celebrate you all for practicing global citizenship, for being the young social entrepreneurs that you are, for committing to make a difference and to do innovate for a bigger picture and a bigger purpose. So we want to hear a little bit about your journeys. You have um, been on your own individual journeys as a team, but at the same time, you've been on the journey with 50 other teams and with us as organizers to kind of, push you, guide you a little bit along the way. So we're going to do a quick breakout activity where we're going to have randomly assigned breakout groups. That means you won't be with your team anymore. It's time for you to get a refreshing break from them and meet somebody new or someone you've already met before in the challenge and share a little bit about how this entire process has been. Talk about your experiences, what challenges you faced, any breakthroughs that you had personally, and also as a team or a project team working on this challenge, and just connect and share and decompress. And here are the questions that are posted in the chat that we would like you to discuss in your breakouts. How did you experience this 48 hours virtual innovation marathon? And what are some of the important lessons you learned along the way? So the rooms are going to have about 4 to 6 people each. And before I open them, I have them all set up. I invite you all, wherever you are, if you can join on camera, because it's really, really important to also connect with each other as people and see the faces behind all these wonderful names on the screen. And also to take a deep collective breath. So, because we're through it, we finished the 48 hours. It's a moment to relax, to let go of the stress, and to let go of maybe even anxiety with, all the deadlines and the submissions, and use the breakouts to also decompress together. So with that, I'm going to open the breakout rooms now. And I hope you have a good discussion in them. Welcome back. Welcome back. We have about 10 seconds until everybody from the other breakouts join us. We hope you had a good discussion. I know it was a short time, and I hope you can continue these conversations beyond the Zoom and in Slack and connect on LinkedIn. So maybe we can have about, we had 4 breakout rooms. So one representative from each room to just share a little bit about how the discussion was. That would be great. So we had in room 1, we had Opim Mika. Sorry about the name pronunciation. You can please correct me. We had Praise, we had Mujitaba, and we had Eric.
Okay, so Eric here. Apologies, I cannot turn on my camera, right? But let me just make some contribution, right? So in my group, the members you mentioned were over there. We discussed how the session had been. In fact, most of the members acknowledged that it was actually draining, stressful. It actually was like a marathon. And in fact, it lived up to its name, marathon, right? But of course, it actually test the limits of the thinking abilities of the teams, for them to be able to think out of the box, to be able to put down something that is worthwhile in terms of their innovation. Another thing that I'll maybe add before we give the baton to another room is that I think one of the group members, Praise, did mention she works with the focus is on disability. And when it comes to how draining the marathon is, right? Perhaps there should be a way to make it a bit disability friendly. Maybe my choice of words, but if she felt that someone with some disability that cannot keep up with the pace, with the speed of the 48-hour marathon, right, may fall along the line. So perhaps either the organizer should consider adding some disability-friendly tactics to the whole program, so that if there's a team that has disability people, or sorry, disabled people, they would be able to also cope with the whole challenge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric, for sharing about what you discussed in the group, and also especially to you and Praise for this really valuable feedback. Every year we try to improve, and this is definitely something that we will take into consideration going forward. And you're right, it is a challenge, and we will try to be better at enabling more people to be able to participate in the challenge with, the other challenges they also have currently. So thank you so much for sharing that. Eric is making notes with all the improvements and suggestions we've been receiving throughout this whole 48 hours. So rest assured that your feedback is taken very seriously. And if you do join us next year, you will also see it being implemented. Okay, so now over to room 2. Anybody from room 2, if you would like to share?
Okay, so I'll just go. All right. So in my team, we were able to talk about like the challenges that we faced, and most of it is what the previous speaker had said, that it was a bit taxing. But then aside the challenges, I think we were all like very convinced that the process was really good on ourselves individually, and even on our team and on our project. So we all really improved in terms of individual improvement. We were all fascinated by how wonderful our project has turned out, because now it now has SDG potentials. It's now addressing the specific needs of the children of our target audience. So I'm saying children because that's one of the target areas that we had in our breakout team. Yeah, so I think that's all. But in all, we were really happy about how much growth that we have accomplished by the process. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I mean, nature also shows us that under a lot of pressure, diamonds are made. So we don't want to give you that much pressure, but we truly believe also that only in a little bit of an unsettling scenario do we push beyond our comfort zone, to think differently, to interact differently, to learn also about the hidden strengths that we all possess as people. And those come out to shine only when there are a little bit of different stimuli that we receive. And we're really happy to hear that even though you did find it challenging, we know too, we find it challenging to host this 48 hours on the whole time as well. But at the end, it's already a pat on the back that you did that, and you did this together as a team, and you found new things to build forward together with. So thank you so much for sharing. Okay, team 3, we have Divine, Benjamin, Abu Bakr, and Dauda.
Okay, so for my group, good day everyone. My name is Abakar. So for my group, we had a lot to discuss actually, from the whole journey of the 48 hours, how stressful and demanding it was. And then we all agreed that it was quite fearful to have gone through all this stress and not being able to submit. So we're all grateful for the reopening for us to actually submit our presentations and all. It was amazing. And then we had the opportunity to discuss about our various innovations and ideas. Very great minds we had in the group. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, the final stretch is where all the push happens. And then, I think what is the Murphy's Law, as we call it, like everything that can actually go wrong can go wrong in the final few minutes. So we are also very understanding of that. And we definitely recognize that all of us have very different access to internet, very different access to technology. very different access to connecting with our team. Some are very spread apart. So just to be mindful of that, we did extend the deadline, and if there are any small technical challenges in the form or in the video, we will reach out to you for it. But yeah, the deadline is, I think, closing now by the time the roundup is over. So thank you for sharing. Okay, now we have room 5. We have Mofe, Bella, Carissa, sorry, Kamilat, and Wanju.
Hello, I'm Carissa from room 5. So our room was interesting. Everyone shared their view and their experiences so far. So everyone in room 5 were technically very, very excited to be here, and they shared positive views about the challenge so far. It's been challenging, but they are happy to have arrived at this point. The 48 hours for them was challenging, but it's a breath of fresh air to finally be here. And yes, I met 3 new persons, I made 3 new friends, and it was exciting to see people from my country, from Nigeria, and connection, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And we're really glad that this also led to some new friendships. And first, always think that even though sometimes we may feel lonely on this journey that we all are on as social innovators, entrepreneurs, students, young professionals, that we're not truly alone. There are a lot of people in very similar situations. And sometimes we have to take and make an effort to reach out and put it out there, and we will find a community to support us. So thank you for sharing. And I would now like to hand over back to Eric to tell you a little bit about what's coming up. It's not as stressful as the last 48 hours. So now there's a lot more slower learning phase coming up, which we hope you will also reap the benefits from.
Yes, thank you so much, Sonali. And guys, we hear you, we see you, and thank you so much for your feedback. We take them in good faith and definitely be implementing them for future iterations. And yes, the SDG Innovation Challenge is truly a marathon. Okay, it's 48 hours. It's the unique selling point of the challenge. You know, we want to do things, see how quickly we can put together solutions, see how together quickly we can work together across boundaries in our teams and innovate, incubate, change up things, make our solutions better, and submit it at this stage where most of you have already submitted your videos. And I'm sure some are going to be watching this video later. And it's important to know that, yes, the 48 hours of marathon is done, but the SDG Innovation Challenge is not done. Okay, we still have a ways to go. We still have some time to go. We still have a few things to do before we actually give out the prizes, give out the incentives, give you the support that you need, give you the leg up that you require to actually take your solutions and innovations to the next level. So all we're going to ask from you today and going forward until we conclude is patience. We want to pace ourselves, okay? We've done the back-to-back innovations. We will not do that anymore. Henceforth, it's going to be more paced. It's going to be more relaxed. The only thing we need from you is your commitment, your willingness to continue working towards making your solutions better, okay? So that brings me to the People's Choice Campaign, okay, in collaboration with the Global Goals, okay? So from the 19th to the 30th of September, we would have the Global Goals Campaign. And within that week, is the Global Goals Week. And this is the week where globally, all SDG actions are coming together across the world. There are around 170 partners who are doing things similarly across this week. So for the SDG Innovation Challenge, the global goals, the People's Choice campaign will be our offering to socialize, to push, to further the SDGs, okay? And other organizations, other NGOs, other companies are also doing same other events, other sessions around the same week, okay? So what is the People's Choice campaign? This is our offering to further the SDGs, basically. This is the chance for you to socialize your solutions. This is where we give you the opportunity to go ahead and tell people how much you have learned, show people what you've done so far in the SDG Innovation Challenge. So from the 19th to the 30th, and prior to that, we will provide you with a unique link to your uploaded solutions on YouTube and a unique voting link as well, where you could actually send or share with people in your network and say, hey, I want you to watch my video, watch my team's video, and vote for us, okay? And the basic criteria to move on to the next stage is 100 votes. So once you have 100 votes, you move on to the next stage, okay? The 100 votes is not there to like as a shortlisting tool. We just want to ensure that everybody does the work. Okay, so it's the barest minimum everybody should do. It's a commitment to do the work, to contribute to the SDG. So within your team, within your networks, all you need to do is share it with at least 100 unique different people, which I think most of us will be able to manage, where they actually watch your video and vote for you. Okay, so once we have the People's Choice campaign out of the way, there are other things that we would do. But before then, before I tell you all the other things that we are supposed to be doing, I'd like to hand over to Lars to tell us a little bit about what the mentoring and incubation phase would look like.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So as Eric said, SDG Innovation Challenge, we challenge you towards the SDGs. The stress, the intensive phase is behind us, and I applaud you once more. We heard it. It is very clearly a marathon, and we're all here. We're hanging in the ropes. Literally, I am. So then we move forward with the awareness. We want to SDG work means that we need to create awareness. We need to create also visibility for not just for the SDGs, but for the many, many actions and initiatives and startups and projects that are actually contributing towards the SDGs. And you are here because you do that. And we want to give you that platform to make this on a global stage, you know. And then once you're through with once you got the at least 100, the minimum of 100 votes under your belt, we go into a much more personalized support journey, 4 phases between October 3rd and 10th of December to substantiate the work that you've started to do at the SDG Innovation Challenge, to really dig in, to provide you with tools, know-how, support you with mentoring also, together with our partners at Sense and the entire SDG Innovation Consortium, of course, to equip you with the tools, networks, hopefully also resources in the ample sense to sustain your work differently and to really walk the talk and do the good work while pushing towards the SDGs. That phase is in your hands. There will be 4 designated mentoring sessions, and these mentoring sessions are more of a question and answer. Think of it as the advisory hours. So it's not lectures, it's you coming with the questions, with your good questions that you have accumulated as you go through the process. Yeah. So very similarly, we will provide you with materials, or you will get materials to work with. There will be instructions, there will be an opportunity then, of course, to apply this to you, to map your work differently, to grow your business, if you want, in a beyond business as usual way, and come with your questions to the team of mentors to really get that best possible insight and capacity under your wings and fly. And that then takes us to the final stage, where I hand back to Eric for the pitching contest and award.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lars. And yeah, this brings me to talk about the pitching contest. Okay, so last I just talked about the mention and incubation phase. There are going to be 4 sessions, get opportunity to bring your questions and improve upon your solutions, basically. And as a bonus feature, we would be doing a pitching contest. So yes, you submitted videos, but you are going to be learning new things, deeper things. So see this as an opportunity to build upon your TPS workbook. Okay, so whatever you've learned during the 48-hour ideation marathon is just the foundation, it's just the basis. So now we are going to be building upon that using the mentoring and incubation phase, go a little bit more deeper, go a little bit more into detail in terms of what your solution is doing, designing prototypes, what you need to do. We will provide you with all the information that you need to get this done. And I just want to mention as well that you should be expecting an evaluation survey that will be sending to you to complete, because feedback is really, really important. We want to take you, give you the opportunity to tell us how you feel beyond this meeting room and beyond the session or the breakout rooms that we had. So please be on the lookout for that. And yes, we're going to be sharing it in your emails and as well as on Slack very, very soon. So after the pitching contest, we're also going to award our winners with the prizes that they have accumulated or won. And this is going to be an opportunity for all the teams to actually get the support that they need. And the mention and incubation phase is for all teams, basically, that make it through their People's Choice contest, okay, or People's Choice campaign. It's open for everybody, regardless of the results of whether you had 100 votes or whoever got the highest number of votes. Is open to everybody, okay. Then I would now like to talk about the prizes and incentives, okay. We've talked about the mention and incubation. We talked about the upcoming pitching contest. We've talked about the fact that there would be some prizes for our finalist teams. And what are these prizes, or what are these incentives? We try as much as possible not to call them prizes, but they are more about things that we want to give to you, or you have the possibility of using to actually take your projects to the next level. Okay, so first of all, project showcase and spotlight. Okay, last mentioned social media. We asked you to socialize the SDGs. We're going to be doing the People's Choice campaign. This will be another opportunity to let people know what you're working on, okay? And once we let people know what you're working on, it also helps us to, get more experts into the fold for you to push your innovations further. And that is another participatory incentive that you have the potential of getting, which is the pro bono mentorship. So we did have an advisory session. Those were mentors who came to give you knowledge for free. We're going to be having a mention and incubation that is also for free. Then this is also an incentive that goes beyond the SDG Innovation Challenge and the mentoring and incubation phase. You get to come back to us and ask for advice, come back to or reach out to our experts and say, hey, this is where we are and this is what we want to do, okay? So funding recommendations as well is available to our teams, and we do come across applications, grants that we know some of our participants, some of our teams, some of our startups here would be great for, okay? And we'll be happy to recommend you. We'll be happy to, recommend you in whatever form that it takes, be it a recommendation letter, be it pointing you to where the funding, making the introduction for you to actually have conversations with potential funders. This is really, really important. Then industry experience placements, okay? The SDG Innovation Challenge this year, we were very intentional about making sure that all the projects are tied to a specific location. We talked about the how spread out the teams are from west to the east to the north to the south and Central Africa. We do have some partners who do a lot of youth employability. We also know that there are some startups that are just starting out and some that are a little more advanced. It might be good for you to go see how the real thing works, how competitors, how sister organizations, how other people are handling this kind of innovation that you are working with. We will be happy to make some of these happen. Unfortunately, this will not be available to everybody because it's going to be based on your location. So as and when we have people who are willing to bring you in, give you a sort of like an internship, give you a sort of a learning period for you to shadow, learn, and on the job, and actually take it back to your projects, we will make some of these things happen. Then project visitation and inspection. We were very intentional on making sure that these are real projects, that your projects are tied to a physical location. And the Melting Foundation is in 6 locations around the world. We are in Accra, Ghana, but we do have fellows, we do have partners, we do also travel around the African continent. And it will be great to be able to come to Kenya, come to Uganda, come to Benin, come to Mozambique, come to South Africa, and engage with your project and see how you're doing, and see your team members, and actually see the work in person, and take this back to our funders. Okay. Then the next incentive that is available is mentoring and evaluation consultation. So M&E is very, very important when you are running projects. It's very important to actually look back, look forward, look sideways. Okay. This is where we actually help you assess how you're doing. What is working, what is not working, what do we need to do, what do you need to change? Okay. Next, access to the SDG Innovation Fund. We are currently building an SDG Innovation Fund, which allows you as participants of the SDG Innovation Challenge, whether you won a prize or not, whether you're a winner of the final prize or not, actually come back to us and say, hey, I participated in 2022. This is how far my project has gone. This is how far we've come. We would like to access funds to move further. That is a fund we are currently building and should be available, should be open by the time you are ready to actually take advantage of it. Next, I did mention funding recommendations. You also have access to fundraising opportunities. The Melting Foundation is a global giving partner. And like I said, these incentives are available to everybody, but you will not get access to all of them. Okay, so there are some startups that need mentoring at this point. There are some that are a little bit more advanced that need fundraising at this point. So if we identify, we see the projects that are really doing well, really growing, really attending the sessions, really engaging, and are ready for fundraising opportunities, the Melting Foundation is a global giving partner, which is a fundraising platform we could always channel, we could always use to boost your fundraising potential. Then talking about funds, also have access to physical sponsorship services. What this basically means is that there are times where you have the potential of getting funds from other organizations. But before you can do that, you need to be vouched for another organization that is reputable, that has the means to manage whatever funds you're receiving, to stand and say, hey, we are going to receive the money on behalf of this team, this project, this startup, and we're going to help them make sure that they spend the money wisely. And these are some of the things an organization like Melting Foundation and Melting Foundation Africa, and as well as our partners, the SDG Innovation Challenge Organizing Consortium, can offer to you as a participant of the challenge. Then also in 2025, the African Youth SDG Summit is coming up. We do have the opportunity to showcase your projects either in person or virtually. Let the African continent know all the great work that you did this year, this time around. And by December, we should have more information on what is going to happen. And the African Youth SDG Summit is one of our partners, and it is the largest African summit on the continent. It brings together over 2,000 young people each year, and next year it's happening again, and we do have the opportunity to bring some of our innovators in. Then finally, which we call the cash prize. Okay, so we're gonna have some winners, we're gonna have an overall best team, and we do have some focus areas, and the best innovation or the best team in specific focus areas, okay, 5 focus areas would receive a prize of 500 USD, which goes towards the project, not towards the team, but it's supposed to go towards expanding upon your project. It's very important that you get to know this. this prize money is not for the team, but it's for your projects. It's for the next phase of the project. Do you want to use the money to expand production? Do you want to use the money to add a new wing to your factory? Do you want to use this money to purchase a new machine or a down payment for a new machine for business registration purposes? These are some of the things or examples that the prize money should go to. Then our overall best team gets a prize of 1,000 USD as well. And all of these prizes and incentives would be fully activated in December at the pitching and award ceremony that we have coming up later. And yes, it's gonna be here very soon. But now we want to make sure that we take you through some mentoring and incubation to build up your projects. Then it's very important that we do this, okay? By the end of the session, you're going to be receiving an email, okay, that asks you to like socialize the SDGs, okay? It's very important for us to let people know what we have been up to so far. There have been some startups, some organizers, some participants who have already gone ahead to socialize, post on social media, but we still need each and every one of you to do so. So please go ahead and keep sharing about your progress in the SDG Innovation Challenge. These hashtags are the hashtags that you should be using. These hashtags are going to be tracked. So we know who is posting, we know the engagement these hashtags are receiving in the long run. So it's very important that you understand that during the pitching contest and during the award ceremony, there's going to be a benchmark for winning, and it has to be at least scoring 75% or more on each, or 75%, at least 75% on each criterion. And some of the criterions for our judges during the award ceremony would be degree of innovativeness, impact potential, implementation potential, team diversity, and the quality of your presentation as well in December, by December 14th. So please keep this in mind. We will be reminding you as time goes on. And yeah, of course, to receive the judges' endorsements for the prize money. So yes, we do have prizes, but it will go to teams that have been able to actually show that they are growing, teams that have scored very high in the books of our judges, and also, of course, judges' endorsement. So thank you so much. And I think at this point, there may be some questions, but I would hand over to Lars to give us a little bit of a something to, for us to think about as we go out of this session, and we'll have the opportunity to have conversations later.
Beautiful.
To you, Lars.
Thank you so much, Eric. And of course, that was a lot of information. You don't need to retain all this because we've been talking about the upcoming month. We'll send this out to you. Don't worry. Don't stress. It's coming, and it will come your way as well. But we want to make sure that you have all the information fresh from the press, so to say, and you can always come back and follow up and ask questions if there's anything. We are 10 minutes over our 48 hours innovation clock, and this is the time when we want to carry everyone home, carry us home, carry everyone home, and celebrate the opportunity and the work done, the stress that we felt. We've talked about this earlier, how daunting it felt, how exciting it was for some, how stressful, how my God, we had to get all this done, and then we had to submit, and the workbook and all that. And yes, part of what we do is, doing the good work, and it's very important. And I really wanted to, and it may feel that, sometimes it's not enough, and sometimes we need to do more, and all of that. And I want to share one thing with you, which is a beautiful story told by Wangari Maathai. She was the first woman to receive the the Nobel Prize for Peace from Kenya. Fantastic storyteller, inspiring activist, and I would like to invite you to watch this short video with me together, or with us together, really, and take that inspiration from the hummingbird.
We are constantly being bombarded by problems that we face, and sometimes we can get completely overwhelmed. The story of the hummingbird is about this huge forest being consumed by a fire. All the animals in the forest come out and they are transfixed as they watch the forest burning, and they feel very overwhelmed, very powerless, except this little hummingbird. It says, I'm going to do something about the fire. So it flies to the nearest stream, takes a drop of water, and puts it on the fire and goes up and down, up and down, up and down, as fast as it can. In the meantime, all the other animals, much bigger animals, like the elephant with a big trunk, could bring much more water. They are standing there helpless, and they are saying to the hummingbird, what do you think you can do? You're too little. This fire is too big. Your wings are too little. And you're big, so small, you can only bring a small drop of water at a time. But as they continue to discourage it, it turns to them without wasting any time and tells them, I am doing the best I can. And that to me is what all of us should do. We should always feel like a hummingbird. I may feel insignificant, but I certainly don't want to be like the animals watching as the planet goes down the drain. I will be a hummingbird. I will do the best I can.
Beautiful. And I guess without, I mean, I want to say this. All of you here, I think we're all hummingbirds of different sizes, and contributing really to putting out that fire, to contributing to the Agenda 2030, to making the place that we share, the planet that we share, more livable, better, fairer, juster, and that is super important and also tiring work. And very clearly, there's two final pieces of, well, let me call it wisdom, or two quotes that I would like to share with you that I think represent quite well kind of the space that we're currently in. One is by Margaret Mead, and many of you may know that, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And that is also an inspiration that, yes, we are part of a movement. We're not alone. We're growing in size. We're growing in importance. And it starts with a small group of people usually where change happens. And this is part of also the SDG Innovation Challenge. And with the journey ahead, there's also this beautiful quote from Nelson Mandela. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. And that is the invitation now, as we have climbed that first hill of the 48 Hours Innovation Marathon. And it was a steep hill. We acknowledge that, and we applaud you for making it. We invite you to enjoy the view a little bit, sit on the top of that hill, appreciate, celebrate the success for making it, and then acknowledge the hills ahead. There's a few more steps to come, both as part of the SDG Innovation Challenge and very clearly for the work that you're doing. This is maybe not the beginning of a journey, but this is part of the journey, and there's more steps ahead. And I hope also that, thinking in that spirit that we're hummingbirds and we're here, we can support each other, that this is also an invitation to do this as community. You have made new friends, you form part of a different network, you're part of a global platform. If you haven't been before, you are now, and this is something big and very, very meaningful. And I guess with that said, I would really like to seize the opportunity on behalf of the SDG Innovation Challenge Organizing Consortium, Melton Foundation Africa, Grassroots Hub, Youth Advocates Ghana, the African Youth SDG Summit, Tech Farm, Sense, Challenge Group, Innovent Labs Africa, and many, many more supporting organizations, Africa-wide and around the world. To thank you, to appreciate you for being here, and to wish you a good celebration to conclude the first phase of the SDG Innovation Challenge. We'll follow up shortly with updates. We're doing the needful on the back end, making sure that everything is in place. But for the time being, enjoy your afternoon, evening, take a break, take a walk if you can. It's been very intense. Thank you so much, everybody. All the best, and bye-bye.